Hey everyone, James Lynch here doing a quick reaction video to the news that UFC London has added a bunch of fights and they have a main event now, and that's going to be headlined by Lerone Murphy and Movsar Evolev. Kind of knew this was going to happen, right? Like if you look at that division, that fight made a lot of sense. The two guys that missed out on the Volkanovski sweepstakes, London needed a main event. Tom Aspinall still dealing with that eye injury. This makes a lot of sense. Lerone Murphy being from the UK. So not surprised there. Love this fight. Makes a ton of sense right now, especially with Volk just fighting. And I'll do a video on the whole welterweight or featherweight division, I should say, in the next little bit here because I got some things to say about it. But there's another fight on here that I wanted to mention. And it's this Michael Page and Sam Patterson fight. What is, like, I don't get this matchmaking at all. What are they doing with Michael Venom Page? Like, this just seems super odd that they're going in this direction, giving him a fight against a guy that, yeah, listen, Sam Patterson's look good, but they're kind of wasting Michael Venom Page here. Am I wrong about this? Or was it a case that they couldn't get anyone to fight Michael Venom Page in the UK? Just seems super odd that he's fighting Sam Patterson. I mean, the good news is we know that Michael Venom Page is fighting at welterweight. That was the big thing because obviously his last fight was up at middleweight, and he gets this huge win over Jared Cannonier, which essentially is meaningless if he's fighting Sam Patterson. So that one doesn't make a ton of sense. We already knew about the Roman Dolidze and Chris Leroy Duncan. I don't believe Luke Riley and Michael Aswell was announced. And then also you have the Curtis Campbell, Danny Silva fight. And then quickly looking at the prelims, then I'll talk about some of the fights. Mason Jones, Axel Sola, like that fight. Nathaniel Wood and Lucene Chieta. I think that fight was announced as well. Lucene getting another fight, which is great. He deserves to be in the UFC. Very good fighter. We got Sutherland and Persiak. Tricoli's getting another fight. You got Mick Parkin against Mario Pinto. Shamrock is going to be fighting Al Swady. That's going to be a fun one. And then you got Dyer and Oliveira as well. Pretty good fight night card. But let's talk about the two big fights here that have sort of caught my attention. I don't mean Roman Dolidze and Chris Leroy Duncan, although that'll be a good fight. But let's talk about this Movsar Evolev and Lerone Murphy fight. Very interesting. You know, the big thing for me is Evolev hasn't fought in a while, right? He's 31 years old. He's in the prime of his career. He's been sidelined. And I see a lot of people kind of blaming Evolev about like, oh, he's not active. But I think it's the UFC not booking him, right? We still didn't get a reason why he withdrew from that Aaron Pico fight. It was super odd. Of course, Murphy ends up getting that fight, and now he's fighting Evloev, which makes sense. So he hasn't fought since that Aljamain Sterling fight back in December of 2024, which, listen, I get the criticisms with Evloev not finishing his opponents, but at the same time, like, you've got a, that last fight against Sterling, I don't think was a boring fight. I think it was like a chess match. Yes, there wasn't a finish there. Arnold Allen is yet to be finished in the UFC, right? Like, I mean, John Silva of all people, you'd think of all people to finish Arnold Allen, it would be John Silva. He wasn't even able to do that. So I kind of cut Evloev some slack there. Diego Lopez, another guy that's tough to finish. So, and that was short notice, obviously, as well. So I think we're going to see a really interesting sort of chess match here between the two fighters. Lerone Murphy, I thought he was getting the next title shot after that win over Aaron Pico, gets a first round finish, one of the best knockouts of 2025, but it wasn't enough. He ends up fighting Evloev anyways. And then prior to that, a lot of decisions. So similar boat here. His last finish prior to the Pico one was way back in 2021. Doesn't have a ton of finishes in the UFC, just 2 stoppage victories here. So I think both guys, need to put on a good show here. I mean, I really hope they're not going to do something like give Yair Rodriguez the next title shot against Volkanovski. I mean, I wouldn't put it past the UFC right now. Like, they just don't seem to follow the rankings or care about matchmaking too much, but you would think the winner of this fight should and would fight Alex Volkanovski next. And let me be clear about this, because I did another video, I think it was a couple days ago, and someone's like, oh, you want to see this fight? It's like, no, I'm telling you what I think the UFC could potentially do here with Rodriguez and Volkanovski. I personally do not want to see that title fight, and I think that fight would be awful. I think Yair Rodriguez should fight Diego Lopez now. But yeah, I think 100%, just so people are clear here, 100% the winner of this fight between Evolev and Murphy should be fighting for the featherweight title next, without question. I mean, there's no one else. I mean, yes, there's like up-and-comers like Yusuf Zalal and Steve Garcia, but this is the #1 contender fight, in my opinion. You've also got Aljamain Sterling out there too, but again, Evloev already defeated him. Now, quick tail of the tape between these two. Evloev going to be a couple years younger. He's 31 years old, 34 for Lerone Murphy. Lerone Murphy is going to be 35 in July, so, keep that in mind as well. Actually, Evloev going to be turning 32 by the time this fight starts, so that's something to keep in mind here with the fact that this fight's in March. 5'7" with 72.5 inch reach. Lerone Murphy is 5'9" with a 73.5 inch reach. So Lerone Murphy going to be a little bit bigger in this spot, a little bit taller, a little bit of a reach advantage in this spot. Not a ton. And obviously, activity-wise, Evloev has not fought that much, right? He's fighting like once a year, basically. Like 2021 was the last time he fought twice in a calendar year. He fought 2022 against Dan Ige, once against Diego Lopez, once against Arnold Allen. Actually, I guess 2. No, sorry, I take that back. Forgot that the Sterling fight was also in 2024. So doesn't fight that often, but didn't fight at all in 2025. and still don't know why. I know there were some injuries, but I don't think an injury took him out of the Pico fight, was my understanding. I didn't hear anything of like, it'd be great if he did some more media. I would personally like to talk to him and get to the bottom as to why he had to withdraw from the Pico fight. It was never really widely reported. Have to look into that. Now, Lerone Murphy, again, fought Aaron Pico back in August, but you look at the activity level, very active, twice in 2025, twice in 2024, twice in 2023. So he's got that in spades as well. And some good wins here. Maybe not great wins. I mean, the Pico win was good because he finished it. I thought the Josh Emmett win was good, but maybe not the most entertaining fight. And then the Dan Ige and Barbosa fights, like he won those, but it wasn't like a clear-cut, like, I feel like this is a guy that can beat Volk type performance in either of those fights. As far as a pick goes, I think I'm like most people. I think Evloev wins the decision here. He might finish Murphy. I think he has to have that mindset of going in and getting a finish to get in the good graces of the UFC. But I just think Evloev is a tough puzzle to solve. And I think there's a world where Evloev could beat Volk. I think he's that good. I think he's a very, very tough fight for anyone. And you just look at the skill set. Overall, I know he doesn't finish a lot of his opponents here, but he's got solid grappling and solid pace as well too. So interesting fight there. Again, going to be leaning Evloev. And as far as this Michael Venom Page and Sam Patterson fight, let me just look at the tail of the tape here. Just what a weird fight. My only guess is they couldn't book Page up against someone, but yeah, that Cannonier fight was back in August. It felt like it was longer ago. So he's on a nice win streak here. So yeah, I forgot about the Share Bullet fight too. So he's fought twice at middleweight. Now he's going back down and fighting a dangerous guy here in Sam Patterson. If we look at Patterson here, he's 29 years old. So they're obviously looking to build him up a little bit. Coming off a couple wins over Trey Waters, Danny Barlow, Kiefer Crosby. I mean, the opposition hasn't been great. Like Johan Lainez is not in the UFC anymore. He lost to Ashmosh in his debut. And then, I don't think Kiefer Crosby, I think, is still in the UFC. Barlow is not in the UFC. So, again, he's beat all guys that are not in the UFC anymore. Does get a lot of finishes, 6 total, 7 submissions. But as we've seen before, Michael Venom Page is a tough guy to finish. I think he's only got 1 stoppage loss, and that was the Douglas Lima fight. Right? So pretty good body of work. Obviously, the concern there is the age at 38 years old, so he'll be much older here. But check out the height and reach here. 6'3" with the 79-inch reach, taking on Sam Patterson, who's 6'3" with a 78-inch reach. So these are two of the biggest guys in the weight class. So that's where things get interesting here. As far as a pick in this one, I have to lean Page just for the simple fact that he's been in there with better guys, has not been showing a decline. Like I thought his last fight against Cannonier was a solid win. And, he gave Ian Gary a pretty tough test not that long ago at welterweight. I think the big question is, how's the weight cut going to go? But yeah, I think Venom Page will also probably take a decision here because I don't see Sam Patterson having an easy time like he has in the last couple fights and getting that finish. Saying that though, could this be the decline fight for Michael Venom Page at 38 years old against a guy in Sam Patterson we know can crack? There's certainly a case for that, but I'm leaning more on the experience side and I will take Michael Venom Page as well. This might be one I do for early look. For sure, I'll do an early look preview of Evloev and Lerone Murphy, but yeah, a couple interesting fights here to the London card. Again, I don't really get the only thing I'm thinking about this Page and Patterson fight is that they view Page as someone that they don't think is going to be long-term in the promotion, which understandable at 38. And they're using this opportunity to build up Sam Patterson, who I think they do believe in at 29 and feel like he can be something in the division. That's the only thing I can think of. Otherwise, like, why is Page not fighting a ranked opponent? Makes no sense to me. Like, where's Gilbert Burns? Where's, Jeff Neal's fighting Euros Medic? Jeff Neal and Page would have been a better fight than this, in my opinion, because at least Neal's ranked. But we know the UFC's not really following the rankings, so we shouldn't be surprised by this matchmaking. So let me know your thoughts in the comments. Were these the fight to make? These fights, some of these fights, were they the fights to make? What are your early picks? Let me know. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, @Lynch on Sports. My name is James Lynch. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.